Okay, let's dive into something that feels so personal, yet is one of the most common conflicts couples run into. It's that, really frustrating feeling when it seems like your partner saves their best, most charming side for everyone else but you. I mean, have you ever caught yourself thinking this exact thing? You see them being just so polite, so helpful and friendly with neighbors or people you barely know, and you just can't help but wonder, hey, why don't I get that version of you all the time? Well, if that question hit home, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. This is not some unique flaw in your relationship. It is a super common pattern that causes a ton of confusion and hurt for so many couples. But the good news, we can understand it and we can definitely work on it. So, why does this happen? Well, it's almost never about a conscious choice to be mean or dismissive. Instead, this kind of behavior usually comes from 5 deep-seated psychological patterns that are basically running on autopilot. Let's break them down. First up, we have the social approval reflex. This is that powerful, almost subconscious drive we all have to be liked, to be seen as the good guy by the outside world. It's not really about liking the neighbor more than you, it's about a deep fear of social awkwardness or conflict. They're trying to keep the peace outside the home, but often it messes with the peace inside. Reason number 2 is the double standard problem. This one's a classic, right? It's often tied to some really outdated ideas about relationships. It's where one person feels like, hey, I have the freedom to be friendly with whomever I want, while holding their partner to a much stricter set of rules. And you can see the glaring contradiction right here. It's that classic rules for thee, but not for me kind of thinking. And look, this isn't just unfair. It's basically a breeding ground for resentment. It just completely undermines any sense of teamwork or equality in the relationship. Our third reason points to a really critical disconnect, the difference between just having good social manners and having healthy emotional boundaries. Your partner might be an absolute expert at being polite in public, right? But they can totally miss how that same harmless, friendly chat crosses an emotional line, making you feel insecure or like you're not the priority at home. Now this one is a big one. It's all about avoiding conflict with outsiders at all costs. They bottle up all their stress and frustration from the day, and where does all that pent-up energy go? You guessed it, it gets unleashed on the person they feel safest with, their partner. All of a sudden, your home stops being a sanctuary and starts feeling more like an emotional dumping ground. And finally, number 5 is a mix of people-pleasing and just a simple lack of prioritization. This is the person who feels like they have to do favors, they get pulled into long conversations, they have to be the helpful one. But in that process of trying to please absolutely everyone else, they forget the number 1 role. Their partner's emotional well-being has to come first. Period. Okay, so we've laid out the problems, but what about the solutions? The great thing is there are clear, totally actionable steps you can both take to break this pattern and get back to a healthier balance. So let's walk through them. Here they are, the 5 keys to turning this whole dynamic around. It all starts with a huge shift in priority, and it works its way all the way to open, honest communication. And these aren't just vague ideas. They're practical changes that when you put them together can completely transform the situation for the better. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't about ego. It's not about control. It's about emotional priority. It's about valuing the long-term health and safety of your relationship over the fleeting approval of someone you happen to share a fence with. So, what do healthy limits actually look like in the real world? Well, it's not about being rude or starting drama. It's about knowing the difference between basic politeness and getting way too involved. Being civil is fine, but having deep personal chats with someone your partner is uncomfortable with, that's not. These boundaries are all about protecting the relationship and making sure you both feel safe and secure. All right, now we have to get to the absolute core of this conflict, because I think most people get it wrong. We're about to reframe this entire issue, and honestly, this is a total game changer. You know why this problem sticks around for so long in so many relationships? Silence. People are terrified to speak up. They worry they'll be called jealous or controlling. They don't want to cause a scene. And so that frustration just builds and silently eats away at the foundation of the relationship. This might just be the most important takeaway from this entire explainer. The next time you feel that frustration bubbling up, I want you to understand, you're not just being jealous or dramatic. This conflict is actually about fundamental needs. It's about respect, priority, boundaries, and fairness. When you frame it this way, trust me, everything changes. So instead of seeing this as some huge, impossible problem, Let's just think about one small step forward. What is one simple boundary, one clear and easy rule that you and your partner could maybe sit down and agree on together today to start making your relationship the priority it really deserves to be?